Calling the meeting to order for the Public Safety Committee, Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024, in the City Hall, Council Chambers. I'd like to ask Captain Malott if you would lead us in the flag salute today. Please stand.
Curveball.
Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Okay, Chief Rod Malott.
Here.
Chief Shane Mull.
Present.
Captain Jay Christian.
Here.
Chair Nick Bercuda.
Here.
Vice Chair Michael Greenwald.
Here.
Mark Roden.
Here.
Scotland Brover.
Here.
Gary Walsh.
Here.
Thank you, gentlemen. We got a full house today. Thank you.
Over on that.
All right, the special orders business, there's none that I'm aware of. Go to the minutes. If you take a couple minutes to look at the minutes, we can move on for approval on them.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have the first and second to move and approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
I got 5-0.
I vote we don't need to use a computer for that.
I don't even know how to get there. Okay. Do you have any written or oral communications you have to deal with that we know of?
I did not.
Tanya?
No, I did not.
Nothing there?
Nope.
Okay, good. We'll move right along to review and recommendations. We got the CARE bulk ambulance performance measures. We'll take a look at this Falk report first. Any comments?
They look really strong and look like they're very much in compliance. I think after our visit to their headquarters and saw their record keeping and data management operation is not surprising that we're able to get these numbers. I would just ask our safety partners if they're like seeing these numbers. These numbers make sense to them for their experiences actually day to day.
Yeah, I would say day to day. I mean, we're very happy with a couple of ambulances in the city. They do a really good job. Like, they live out of the fire station with our crews. We continue to hire the people that are off of there. I think we just cleared up all of them from Station 60 to ET. ET 60 all got hired with us. And so they do really well. And I do notice even when those two ambulances are assigned, they do bump an ambulance down from another area to cover. So they do the best they can, and they do a great job in the city. So yeah, I would say the numbers look accurate to what they do on a daily basis.
Thank you.
Things are good. Anything from Chief Christian?
In regards to Falk?
Yes.
No, I have no input.
Okay.
Yeah.
No complaints.
More Shane's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question for Chief. Is there anything you would like to see different with Falk? Not that they're doing something wrong, but in a perfect world, is there something you would like different?
No, I
don't
think
have it in mind as we move forward next time.
no, I think they're doing good. We like having them in the fire stations. I think we definitely should continue with that. We're looking at all ambulance service throughout all of Orange County and oversight, just in general, working with the county, MSA, and the other agencies for the full op area. And so there should be some data coming from that on ways that ambulance service as a whole could probably do better, any holes that they might have, and really the oversight piece of what that looks like is kind of Falk manages their, obviously the report comes from them, but fire agencies kind of want to have some oversight as well as, you know, cities who have contracts with them too. So I think in the future we'll see some adjustments to how the oversight goes. But as to the ambulances in the city, they're fantastic. Really, the Falk allows us to actually interview and shoot and select the EMTs that are on those ambulances, which I think started multiple years back. But that was a huge improvement for us, just because you could pick the people working in the city, and most people that work in the city on the fire engines live in the city, so they really care about the kids that come through there, and they're really good employees. So at this point, I don't have any big improvements that are made, but I am looking forward to the report on oversight, on what that can look like and how we can work with them, because as you guys probably saw when you went up there, they want to collaborate and work on that. So yeah, I don't have any pressing issues. The campus is doing good.
Thank you.
I think the only consideration is the surge capacity right now. Everybody is working within normal limits, but in emergency, if the big ones happen, we're going to see some problems.
Yeah, and I think that's just, you know, regionally, the ambulances are pretty busy for sure. Definitely the ones in the city, they do a good job of keeping two in the city all the time, but it definitely pulls ambulances from other cities and areas that don't have contracts specifically with them. So that's something I know Falk would like to address as well. I think the big thing for them is just retaining employees long enough to keep as many ambulances in service. Fortunately, most people that get on an ambulance are looking to become firefighters, police officers. A lot of them actually are looking at like nursing and PA school these days. So they come and they go quickly, which is a good thing, but makes it hard for them to continue to build numbers. So I think,
Well, at least we're watching this thing, and we have the ear of the community too, supporting it. Good. Okay, we've got performance measures for the fire authority. Danny, would you help us out with them?
yes, so I will, I'll just kind of go through the report that you guys have in front of you. I think you have for the second quarter totals, 1,421 calls during that period, a little bit down actually from the first quarter, but that does seem to fluctuate. Summertime's coming, it's going to get pretty busy. Obviously the inspections and everything are pretty much on par with everything. I mentioned before for the inspection loads, you'll probably see these definitely by the end of May. We should probably be done with inspections, so those following, fourth quarter numbers will be much lower because we'll be already done with all the inspections. Average response times, 7 minutes and 13 seconds, so that's something we're constantly monitoring and looking at. Obviously, we can't really control drive times and things like that to calls, but we're working to get crews up and out of the stations quicker. We're constantly looking at ways we could, improve operational readiness as far as getting out of the stations. That's really the big thing we can control. Our dispatch center's been averaging, I think, 58 seconds for call processing time, which is really good. The national standard's like a minute and 4 seconds. So with the amount of calls coming to the dispatch center, they get them out quick. So we're just looking at different ways to get crews up and out of the stations quicker. One of those being potentially, so a lot of times at night they have to put turnout pants on to go on a call, or put their pants on. We're looking to get some different kind of equipment that they can wear, like some just bigger pants to make that every second count. So it's something quicker for the crews to put on to get up and out the door for their calls. So constantly looking at response times, but the average 7:13 is good. Let's see. I don't have anything big there. I think Michelle just sent you guys, she just finished today, the 2024 first quarter newsletter, so you guys should have that in your emails now. And there are new numbers in there for the next quarter, which I'll go to. Oh wait, they're not in there. I apologize. But yeah, we're trending good. It's been busy in the city. Just with medical aids, we did have a good fire. We had a fire a couple weeks ago. House fire that was well involved when crews arrived, but they made a quick attack on it. Fortunately, crews got on scene quick and were able to save the 2 houses on the side, which was really impressive. So, yeah, that's kind of my report on the performance measures here. Unless you have any questions on it, but
I have a quick question, Chief. Because we're down here in kind of a cul-de-sac and not a lot of redundancy, obviously nothing from the south. What is that trigger point for you guys to move up and cover units down here once R3 get committed?
yeah, good question.
Or
So,
any of them get committed?
yeah, because we're on an island, our ECC is constantly watching San Clemente, because we're down at the end down here in the cul-de-sac. And so pretty much anytime 60s is on a call, because 60s area is so busy, pretty much when they fall up to the hospital, we start moving rigs down. So we'll pull, usually Station 9 gets pulled because they have a truck and an engine out of there. They'll start making their way down to cover. Anytime they go to training for 4 hours, we always backfill it with an engine from somewhere else. A lot of other areas have double houses with two rigs coming out of them. So we'll move them. So pretty much, I mean, it's rare that we come on a time where the city's depleted completely of all resources, because if 60s run the call and then 50s runs the call, they start that movement pretty quick down here. And there's a lot of resources around here that we can pull, and it doesn't impact too hard the other areas. So there's not like a set trigger point. It's more just they're constantly up on the ECC map, that kind of will go red down here and show, okay, well, it's time. Once it's yellow, they start looking at moving rigs. So it happens pretty quick. We have a standards of coverage document that's actually, I think they had the first meeting today to start looking at within the next month or two, which I'm really excited to see, which will take the whole county as a whole and evaluate spots where we need to increase resources, add resources, maybe even move resources. So I'll be really interested to see what that looks like down here in San Clemente. I think we're pretty good, but it's busy. I mean, 60s is really busy. The one addition that we did get, it's not really a day-to-day addition, but it's Camp Pendleton put in a fire station right off Basilone Road that has a paramedic unit at it, as well as a Type 3. It used to be over on the Fallbrook side, but they moved it. If you just go in Basilone Road, there's a Sonic Burger right there. There's actually a community center that's a fire station now. So we've been meeting with them a lot and trying to build them into our CAD to at least assist us with paramedic services when they can. They want to come into the city and they want to be busier, obviously. So that's a really good addition too. That comes at no charge to us, which is a beautiful thing. And they have a Type 3 fire engine out of there as well. So any brush fires we get down here, obviously we have a Type 3 at Station 50 that's ready to go all the time. And then a couple just up the road at Station 67 and Station 7. So we have a lot around here, but that adds another one. So it's good. But yeah, ECC's constantly watching the whole county, but this is a special little end of it right here that they watch close.
Awesome, thank you. That standards of cover study or document, or will the contract cities have any input in that, or is that just strictly an internal document?
Oh no, it'll be a public document, and the cities will definitely have input into it, especially because, let's say it identifies, let's just speak now, let's say it identifies we need another fire engine in San Clemente. Well, that's nice, but we're a contract with San Clemente, so we have to work with the cities to see, if they want to meet that need or how we can partner with them to figure that out. So the city will be involved, and it'll be a public document. It should come out, I think, the final document within the next couple of months, which would be good.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the committee? Nope, we're good. Okay. I'll get down to new business. Don't see any new business we do, but I'd like to send this over, if you would, to our representatives down there, and if I can send these over there.
For your viewing pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, we're into committee reports for the work plans. I just passed out a recommendation. I'd like to make this is regarding, we asked or recommended to the city council that we have a disaster planner involved in the budget, or I mean, just getting one through the budget and involved. Work with staff on this recommendation. I'd like to make a motion on this. I'll read it. Based on the city's ongoing public safety needs and responsibilities, the committee desires to reaffirm our recommendation for establishment of a specific emergency management staff position within the city's new public safety entity department. This position would encompass the responsibilities of the department management and will be responsible for oversight of the following: Marine Safety Division, Park Rangers Program, emergency planning and coordination, including maintaining disaster preparation and response plans. Operational authority for the city's Emergency Operations Center and specialized training, the CERT program, RSVP program, local RACES program, and coordination with the Tri-Cities RACES program. Providing the liaison, reviewing contracts and interface with contracted public safety agencies, for example, the Orange County Sheriff's Department and the Orange County Fire Authority and private ambulance services. So there is my, and we're, because we're in the budget end of it, and the council is going through this annual budget thing. We want to make sure that this does not lose its impact.
I'll second that.
So, got a discussion, got a first and second, any discussion on this one?
No.
So this,
Supportive.
yeah, so this person would be over all these programs, is that?
Right, it'd be, the way it looks like, at this point, there's a public safety division, and that person would be there,
The chief of the public safety.
or the director for the city. So, okay.
Where does it stand from the, because I noticed you say to reaffirm, because we had sent it up, it sounded like they had agreed,
Right,
and then,
you know how bureaucracy works.
no, I just, but what happened
Sure he does.
just to reaffirm us? To
Okay.
reaffirm us, to reaffirm them.
Run for them. Well, what happens is that at that point, it was just the public or the disaster planning stuff.
Mhm.
Now it's gotten bigger and more inclusive. The city is seriously looking at making public safety its own department under the city manager.
Do we want to include, as we did previously, PIO duties or PIO
I
positions?
think we'll leave that one to the city manager.
City manager.
Yeah, but we're, PIO, I think, is not necessarily public safety. This one is specific to. Okay? Okay, first and second, and any comment from the non-voting staff?
Can you make a motion?
I made a motion, and it was seconded by
We didn't hear it.
Newman Greenwald. Okay.
Just so it gets recorded on, did you have your microphone on?
Microphone's on.
Okay, I didn't hear all that. That's okay.
Why don't you,
Do you mind just repeating it for the minutes? Thank you.
make the motion again?
Okay.
Yeah.
The motion is to reaffirm our original request to the public, to the city council to establish a specific emergency management staff within the city's new public safety entity department.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we have
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Thank you.
Can we dial in the memo before we submit it to them officially? I mean, it's going to be the same thing in nature, but then just the document that is actually received to them, or do they actually not receive the memos that does it get turned into something else? So if we write a memo, does it get handed them directly or just placed on an agenda?
So this was a motion
to reaffirm the position of the Public Safety Committee, not to forward a memo. With the council liaison, being Councilmember Leffler, he'll have an opportunity to report this action of the committee to the whole city council at a future city council meeting.
Thank you.
So we make sure that that's very important to our job here. And look forward to city council's action and funding that function. Homeless and pest management practices. We have any comments from that subcommittee?
No.
No comment, okay. We're waiting, I guess, for some input from the I-5 people. I really want to go with that. Neighborhood Watch.
Ryan continues to sign up more block captains. And again, my question is, are we going to get neighborhood watch signs for the park?
Public Works is still doing their inventory of the number of signs that we have on public property. We do have a cost of about $100 per sign to make the sign and have staff remove the old sign and install the new one. But dependent on the number of signs and the amount of budget within the Public Works Department, it's not known at this time whether an existing budget can facilitate the replacement of those signs, or a specific request will need to go to the City Council for additional funding. But to the extent that our existing sign replacement budget can take this on, we'll do that. There are about 30 signs that have already been ordered and scheduled to be replaced, so the project has technically started, and the crime prevention specialist is working with our public works staff to get that going.
Now, are these the new signs with the burglar on them?
I have
Or
not,
these I mean, we had some signs that were really pretty, San Clemente, okay, but when you looked at them, you wouldn't really know they were neighborhood watch signs unless you really looked at them. And some of them had the wrong phone number on them. And so we'd like to really see what they're ordering and, have some input in that if we could.
the signs, I believe, have already been ordered and made, and I think they're in the process of getting installed. I can find a copy of the sign and send it to the committee for,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
And there was a question regarding HOAs. I guess the discussion we had was that the city would provide the signs, HOA would have to install them on their property if we go that far.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still working through that one. That would be a good discussion to have with the block captains to help identify how many signs we're talking about there. And depending on the number, again, that might be a city council request. And more than likely it would, just because they're signs on private property.
Right. Thank you. Statistical information review. Do we have anything?
Did you, at the last meeting, address the field trip to Falk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that.
And just the
And
park
yesterday.
ranger, park ranger stats that we're reviewing and refining and drilling down into what we do need to be looking at and probably what we don't need to be looking at.
Right. Yeah.
Working with staff on refining those statistical reports.
Right. Based upon our finding last meeting. Okay. Human trafficking.
Danielle, we made this rescheduled the sweep that we put off.
The inspections, yeah, they were completed, nothing to report. There was no violations reported.
Good deal.
I made a mistake here. I was talking about I-5 under homeless, and that doesn't belong there. It belongs under the
Oh, yeah.
traffic,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Correct.
But under the homeless, we're waiting, I guess everybody's waiting for the Supreme Court to make their decision on what they're gonna do with that.
With bated breath, because that's going to change a lot of things that the sheriff's office can do and hopefully should be able to
Or
do.
the city can expect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to.
be interesting to see.
The potentiality is there for sure.
Right.
Before we move off traffic, and Chief Christian, do you have any input on human trafficking? Are your deputies seeing anything that we should be aware of?
None that's been reported to me. Typically that'll fall under our vice detail. It's not specific to San Clemente, but they're countywide, so I haven't heard of any reports of any human trafficking in San Clemente.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, e-bike and traffic safety. I'd like to ask our public safety representatives if they've, what they experienced this last month. If we've had any notables, crashes or injuries.
I don't have any specific statistics for you. I do know there were a couple collisions I know somebody was transported to the hospital. I don't know if it was a juvenile or an adult. It's my understanding it was more precautionary transport than any major injury. I know there's some discussion months back about trying to figure out if we can keep stats on whether a collision is e-bike related or not. I think that is being worked on in our department, so hopefully we can have that in the near future. Other than that, I know we still continue to field reports from the public about e-bikes, and my guys are out there enforcing what they can when they can, balancing safety for the rider amongst enforcement actions. But I know in the last couple of weeks we've taken a few of these electric motorcycles off the street, and not related to e-bikes, but even dirt bikes on street roads, on city roads. So
It's funny that you mentioned the actual, like the gas dirt bikes, because yeah, we've been seeing a lot more of those lately, it seems like, right? After the rain.
yeah, I know we've been getting reports since the rains have stopped that people are on their dirt bikes up on either the city trails or HOA trails. I know a report came in last week, and one of my deputies ended up finding a teenager on a 250 motorcycle on Pico, so that was impounded and a cite was issued. So hopefully the message gets out that we're out there looking for these, including electric motorcycles.
How old was the rider?
I could estimate
Minor or
mid-teen.
adult? Oh, adult. Oh, so teen.
Teen.
Okay.
Chief Malt, I think we've talked about it in the past that it was getting worked into your EMS reporting. Is that still moving forward?
Still moving forward, but it's not in there yet, unfortunately. They're making a whole bunch of tweaks to it, so I apologize. But, yeah.
That's right. Those things move slow, but when it does make its way in and it's easier just to query off of that data point, would it be possible to work that into the quarterly report?
Yes, I think, yeah, I will definitely. At least I'll bring it. I don't know on the measurables if we're, oh, I'm sorry, on the quarterly report, yes. That sounds great.
Thanks.
Now we're down to technology review. Just want to report that Mark Rowan and I were out with the city manager and Councilman Loeffler to Laguna Beach, and we were hosted by their disaster planner to show how their siren and public address system works for the city. It's very impressive. They did a demonstration on the mountaintop. Any comment that you have on that?
It was one of the more impressive.
I'm gonna turn it on.
Oh, sorry. It was one of the more impressive bits of public safety technology I think I've ever seen, and the way I like the idea that certain people in the city could actually access it from their phone. You know, something's going on and they're driving into town, they can go ahead and get the ball rolling. I liked that it can be isolated in certain speakers in certain part of town. It seems like it could be used in conjunction with, not necessarily with what you have at the beach already, but to supplant that. I don't know. I think we'd be remiss as a city if we didn't do everything we could to have such a system. It just takes, one oh darn to make you wish you had it, right?
Yep. And then we have two great examples that could have been used. That particular system could have been used, one in Paradise, California, and the other was Lahaina, where they burned the whole city down. And what's nice about this system they have is you get the attention with the sirens and the noise gets people's attention, but it's backed up with some instructions.
Yeah, and we saw it, it's funny, we saw it firsthand because it happened to be a beautiful day that day, and there were hundreds of people out on the hiking trails and all stuff, and you've never seen so many people just stop dead in their tracks and all look up, and then they listen to it, and then you see it's just a test, you see this overwhelming sigh of relief, and then everybody kind of went back on there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a showstopper for sure.
The comment from our host at Laguna Beach was after we asked him, what kind of complaints do you get from the residents? And they said overwhelmingly the complaints is they need more of them throughout the city. It's very, very popular, and they see the positive aspects of it. So it's, it's presented, and we'd like to, see how we can help facilitate it. It just takes lots of money to do those things, but the technology is there, and that's the report we got on that. Okay. Okay, let's go into reports from the committee members. Let's go to police services, Captain Christian.
Yeah, not much to report. So I'll speak on just today. Our team, Danielle's team, Co-Compliance, Park Rangers, City Outreach, they got together and did kind of a monitor and maintenance at North Beach. They went down there and checked on the area to make sure there was, if there were any homeless down there that were needed some services. Reports that there were some service-resistant people down there, so they were down there just to keep tabs on the situation down there. Overall, it went well. Not too much activity down there. I'm sure Danielle can touch a little more on that. I think she was out there herself. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wasn't out there physically, but I think she was. But I know that we were able to get somebody some service, and I know maybe you can expand on what kind of service it was, or at least some transportation to somewhere they were trying to get to. So that was positive, and I think one citation was issued today. But that's my report on that. Also, April 27th, I just want to report that it's National Take Back Prescription Day. So we will have employees here taking back any unwanted prescriptions. So hopefully that gets out to the public. And I know we made a post about it on our social media as well. Going back to Neighborhood Watch, just talking with Brian, he had 3 new meetings since our last meeting here, and provided 10 home assessments. And other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Any comments?
Excuse me. Yes, I wanted to ask Danielle that maybe I've kind of noticed, this is just anecdotal, it seems like a little uptick in homeless presence in our city. Am I right or wrong with that?
You're correct. It seems to be that since the Metrolink started running again, that we've had a number of people from Los Angeles, mostly from up north, a few from down south, but the majority are from up north. I've been told that they've been a little aggressive and service resistant. So part of the group kind of agency outreach today was to set a presence down there again, and we want to have a regular Tuesday, maybe not as many people as we had today. There wasn't a ton of people down there, but just have an ongoing, get, a couple people from the sheriffs, rangers and code, do some outreach and just keep North Beach looking nice and pristine.
Okay, thank you.
Great. And we go on to fire services, Chief Mall. Comments?
Yeah, just to add on to what I went over earlier, just for the first quarter of this year, we've already had 1,438 incidents, 1,244 medical aids, 36 fire responses, and 158 miscellaneous, so all risk type of incidents. A couple of, a lot of TCs, a lot of just normal day-to-day incidents, a couple of the kind of notable ones. We had a little small vegetation fire, believe it or not, in mid-February, just right up here on the top of the hill off of La Pata. It was only like a 50 by 20 spot, so fortunately everything's really wet still. So it wasn't moving much, but we were able to get a quick knockdown on that. And just a couple house fires. One out near Salvador was a garage fire. It was impinging on the houses next door when we got there. So fortunately, crews were able to make a quick attack and save the house next door and hold it to the garage. So a lot of school visits. Crews have been busy doing that stuff. We had the mock DUI at St. Mary High School, which went really, really well. Hopefully had an impact on some people. And yeah, just been a busy time, but getting ready as it starts to warm up and we get into summer, it gets a little bit busier. So
Oh, yeah, it's getting ready.
getting ready.
Thank you. Anything on training, like the bulldozer training over in Pendleton or anything?
Oh yeah, we are this week, last week and this week, we do have our heavy equipment out in Camp Pendleton doing dozer school. So they got, they're working this side along the Talega Ridge, I believe it is. So kind of just inside, which is a really good fire break for San Clemente specifically. So that's where they're working all week this week, which is good news. So they worked into the night last night. If you saw lights out there, they did night operations, which was good training for them. And then the rest of the week, they'll run just day operations. We just at the end of last month did some large animal training that you may have seen on the news at Shea Center in San Juan Capistrano. So every year, the fire department responds to usually like 2 or 3 large animal horse rescue type of calls. Mostly in San Juan, Michigan, sometimes out in the Orlando area, in the equestrian areas. And so we did training at Shea where actually they train us on how to manage horses and move them around, which, having done it myself, I'm kind of not a big horse fan. So it was really, really good. But the crews learned how to actually interact with and communicate with the horses, as well as work on operations with our harnesses that we utilize. Most of the time we airlift the horses out of the spots. We've had a few really big rescues like that. So that was really good training. And then, we have crews are constantly training. We have some new captains over here at Station 59, which is really good. So you probably see them out and about a lot, doing a good deal of training. So that's an exciting time. Fire school is coming up, I believe in June, hopefully, out in Pendleton. So hopefully, I don't know, see it may be too wet, but we'll see if that's able to go off like normal. But definitely training a lot. The Firehawks, I know I've talked about those a few times. They were supposed to have been here a couple months ago, but unfortunately there was a recall on the engine. So that's actually coming back to the factory in the next week or so. So we should see the Firehawks here in California at OCFA by like mid-May. So that's pretty exciting. And then it's going to be a couple months where you're going to see them flying around a lot and training a lot. You'll probably see them over here at the bike trails out by Seed Park, just because we have so many rescues out there. So they'll probably be training in a whole bunch of remote areas on those. And then they should be in service for fire season, so that'll be really good. We get two water dropping helicopters that drop 3 times as much water as our other helicopters. So it's a really big addition for us. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Are they also involved in water rescues too, like the ocean?
Yeah, so they're the ocean. We don't make a lot of rescues out of the ocean. It's mostly Coast Guard that does that. Granted, if there was something very emergent that we could pick somebody up safely, we would do it. But the pilots, it's a whole other skill. They say when I've never flown one. But once you're over that ocean, it's hard to hold a good hover and keep your bearings about you. So we don't do a lot of ocean rescue. But we do a lot of swiftwater rescue. We had a couple of those this year through the rains up at Santa Ana and Garden Grove, where we hoisted people out of the swiftwater channels and things like that. So swiftwater, vegetation fire, all of our remote rescues, large animal rescues, they're busy. So it would be really nice.
Super.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Marine safety, our own chief.
Good afternoon, everybody. It was nice this past weekend. We didn't have any rain. It seems like every weekend there's been rain. And unfortunately, it sounds like there's a small percentage of possibility of rain this weekend. So, but since our last meeting, March 26th, we've had over 98,000 beach visitors. We had some nice weather last week. We kind of got teased a little bit, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Since March 26th, we've had 21 swimmers that were in distress that were rescued. We had no drownings, which is always a great thing to report. Lifeguards conducted 434 preventative actions since the last meeting and over 2,032 public education contacts, 14 medical incidents, and 479 law enforcement contacts. We reunited 2 missing persons since our last meeting. We had a beach closure on March 31st for lightning. We had a shark sighting that was reported at T Street on April 13th. So we had an advisory up for 24 hours. It was cleared the next day. And today we had a Ponga landing at Riviera. It was a 22-foot Ponga. They came in the morning, small outboard engine, multiple gas cans, and were found inside the Ponga along with life jackets. I think there was 12 life jackets. OCSD responded. Duke came over and Harbor Patrol's out there. To my knowledge, no one was found on the beach or obviously in the water. Coast Guard and Border Patrol took over, and U.S. boat tow took over the boat and towed it off. Since our last meeting, biggest surf we've had was last week, 4 to 6 surf. It was good to see a south swell come in. Water temperatures range 54 to 63, air temperature 49 to 62. Next, not this weekend, the following weekend, May 4th, 3rd and 4th, we have our last research class, so we'll have about 20 plus lifeguards returning for that. It's a 2-day class, so they'll be doing 10-hour days on that. We just received a new PWC, so if you see that, it's white, it's in operation now. North Beach, that tower that was up there, I don't know if I told you guys from the last meeting, there's been, that tower has been moved down to Tower 6, been repainted, it's Tower 6 now. North Beach facility, met with Public Works, Danielle, Jay, some code enforcement and some other stakeholders to talk about the upgrades in there. And then met with Public Works to talk about that, finalized that last week. So they're in the process of finishing that up. So it'll be a substation for all the stakeholders. Our lifeguards, our full-time guards on April 17th, last Wednesday, participated in, hosted by our St. Clair Lifeguard and Junior Guard Foundation. There's a local named Marshall, had a cardiac arrest. He was down at Trestles. Felt like he wasn't feeling well, came in, still was getting some pain, jumped on his e-bike, waved down a state lifeguard and told me he needed help. And he took him up to the upper parking lot. He was airlifted to the hospital. So he was part of the main reason, the driving force. He's good friends with the president of the foundation, and we trained about 25 Trestle locals. And it was a big hit, and so that was a great event that went on April 17th, last Wednesday. You'll see towers open on the weekends. It's T Street, Tower 1, Linda Lane, and 14, and sometimes Tower 11. Seeing more of a beach crowd down there with the 5 courts down there. April 16th, Public Works finished the beach trail from North Beach to Portel, so that's open now. The bridge will remain closed. Just remind everybody, our lifeguard hours are now 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're closing at 8, and probably within 3 weeks or so, we will closing at 8:30. And big news for tomorrow is JG registration starts at 8 a.m. And that is the new process for registration, which is priority to San Clemente returning residents and their new siblings. So they get 24 hours of priority registration. Day 2, the 25th, will be new San Clemente residents with returning non-residents. And then day 3, which will be the 26th, will be open registration. So a little bit different to what we've done in the past. We're hopeful, there's always kinks when you do things new, but hopefully this is, a good solution to the San Clemente residents and returning residents. So I would imagine that we'll still do really well with the registration closing within a minute, but it may not because it's broken up into 3 tiers. Let's see, as far as encampments, we've seen an uptick. We've had 4 encampments reported, 3 at Tower 9, which is the hole, and 1 up at North Beach. Special events, we had a surf contest that was canceled on the 30th due to the rain. They're going to reschedule. Last weekend, we had a surf contest at T Street, 2-day contest, and we have one coming up, a 2-day contest at T Street, May 11th through 12th, and Mr. Rakuda. Your trash enclosure behind Marine Safety Headquarters, they delivered some more equipment. They're going to move the dumpster probably tomorrow and start work soon after that. The city put out a press release on April 19th about the sand replenishment project. It's going to restart. So if you've been on the beach, you've probably seen some staging. So that should be starting soon. So if there's any questions.
Yes.
Yes.
How will the sand replenishment program impact your operations?
We're happy to be flexible. I mean, there's obviously logistically, we're going to have to do different things, which we've already done. With the dredge pipe being there, with the current turning directions on us, it's going to be more of an obstacle for us. So still have to staff Tower 1, even though no one can go in the water there. But we'll, this time of the year we wouldn't normally staff Tower 3, but that's where the overflow will go. And also the visitors will be impacted because the staging area, they won't be able to sit there. So it'll condense people to either, go to Linda Lane, T Street, North Beach, the other areas. We'll see the impacts once the beach trains start rolling in and they drop them off at the base of the pier and how that plays out. But obviously more staffing, more, as they move down the beach, we'll have to have the water closed in the area where the bulldozers are moving the sand and whatnot. So logistically it'll be tough, but we'll handle it. Yeah.
Okay.
I just had a question about the status of the tower replacement project.
Yeah, so they got pulled from council. I think I reported that at the last meeting.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they got pulled from the council meeting, and it's going to be revisited, but it's not going to happen for the summer right now. So we had to make adjustments. That's why 14 got moved down, and we're going to use 14 as the tower. Not up on the upper deck, but the lower deck, and have an awning out front, still use the facility inside. Which, we can get by another summer. But yeah, that's the update with that. And also we're HR will be opening internal recruitment for our ocean lifeguard supervisor. That was supposed to open on Friday, then Monday, and then today, but it sounds like it'll open tomorrow. And that's an internal recruitment. It'll be open for 1 week, and then we'll run interviews via Zoom and then make a selection. We're about 30 days to 5 weeks from summer beginning for us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And then a question, what was the date of the boat that was abandoned on the beach?
today.
Oh, it's today?
Yeah.
Okay. And then kind of related question, and I guess this would be for all staff. Has there been any contact from the federal government or the military regarding, I don't know if I'm the only one that's been seeing them, the UAVs that have been patrolling along the coast here, and then the swift boats that have been patrolling, and then they were spotted in the harbor at Dayton Point. It's all started after April 13th when the similar incident happened in Carlsbad when it was on video in the middle of the day where the boat crashed up onto the sand and then people ran from it to waiting SUVs. So, yes, not oddly enough, but So I feel like within a couple of days after that, I started seeing the UAVs flying along the coast. I was just wondering if they contact us when stuff like that happens. Or,
I haven't had any contact with them.
Interesting.
Interesting. The committee chair has no comments at this point, so I'm going to go to the committee themselves. Mark, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
Scott?
I missed the last meeting. Chief Mall referenced the every 15 minutes demonstration that it was on March 6th, and my daughter's a senior at San Clemente High School and was one of the role players, and said that it was one of the most impactful things that she's participated in or seen in her 4 years at San Clemente High School. So I wanted to thank OCFA and our sheriff's partners and Falk. She said that everyone who had a part in it was just amazing, and it was just a great experience for her personally, and then like I said, really impactful for the student population as well. We're working on getting Rosemary Solis to come give a presentation, hopefully next month, on kind of the scale and scope, maybe some context and history of that program. Thank you.
Gary?
Nothing.
Got it. Okay. City staff. Danielle, do you have comments?
No, Captain Christian updated you guys, and I added a little bit just about our outreach and enforcement efforts today. That's all I have. Thanks.
Any updates on the park ranger program that we should be aware of?
None that I've been made aware of. We're just kind of moving along.
Uniforms, vehicles, any of that stuff. How about communications, like radios?
No, we're waiting to get approval on, some of the decision packages regarding the budget.
Mhm.
So once, we have clarification on that, then we would begin that process. We're not there yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
I have one comment on the ranger program. It's just amazing. I actually see the rangers out now, okay, because you actually know they're rangers and they're out there. And so the uniforms and everything are money well spent.
Oh,
So thank you.
fantastic.
Tell Trevor they're doing a great job.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, Natalia, do you have anything? No, we're good. All right. Anything for the good cause, guys? No? All right, so I'll call for adjournment. The next regular meeting, Public Safety Committee is scheduled to take place Tuesday, May 28th, 3 o'clock p.m. City Hall, Council Chambers. Motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Scott?
Second?
Mike Greenwald, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all the help.